You. Oh, I think I need my earphones. How's it going, guys?
What's up, Jay?
Oh, not much. Give me 1 second to get my earphones in. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine. You're good to go on my end.
I'm glad you dressed up, Jason.
I tried. Okay, there we go. So, what's everyone working on today?
So
go ahead,
go ahead. No, go ahead, Klaus. You go first.
I'm doing a Dark Knight commission for a fan. Yeah.
No, this one's going to be for sale.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that one's just for fun.
Then why are you asking me if you know better?
Yeah, it's more fun when it comes from you.
Okay, yeah, okay. This will be so it's for sale. Yeah. All right, thank you.
And Shawn, what are you doing?
I'm going to do something new today. I'm going to paint these two little sketch cards, Batman and Wolverine, and we're going to open up the bidding on these as I paint them so you can watch them being made and bid on them.
Very cool. And it seems like Dave can't make it today, unfortunately. He's having some computer issues, so hopefully some of the other guys, the gals, will join us in a bit. And we'll offer some other art and hang out and chat and,
We're going to have a good time today. It's going to be fun.
And, I'll have a few different other promotions going on that we'll announce. But let's see, there's about 10 people watching at the moment. If we can get up to 20, we'll announce the first.
All right, cool. Well, let me, since we want to talk about process, I can explain what I've done so far and what I'm doing. So with the paintings, I like to start with just a general color scheme where I have like a dominant light source, a warm and a cool, basically. So I have this gold, which I used on both, and then purple on the Batman, and then ultramarine on Wolverine. So it'll help guide your focus. After that, I do the first thing I did was I did a black color pencil value drawing, and I did a little bit of value work after the wash with a combination of sepia and ultramarine. And now I'm at the point where I can put my local colors on top, like Wolverine's yellow costume and blue costume will be yellow and blue, and Batman, of course, we'll do that. I'm going to make the purple background on Batman stronger. I'm going to make a greenish background behind Wolverine. And once the local colors are in, we can work on the opaques. But we'll get there. So what I'm using are these alpha acrylic paints, which, Jay, if you can put the link up. So Alpha Acrylic is a small paint company here in the States, and they make awesome paints. And I've got a thing going with them where if you use the link we put up and you add the code InkPulp10, you'll get 25% off of your order.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
You're kidding.
I'm not kidding, Klaus. But they're really good paints, and I've been using them. And I have a video coming out of my painting technique, an ink pulp instruction video in November, and Alpha Acrylic sponsored that one too. So this is kind of like a mini look at what that is. But these are going to look great when they're done. I'm liking how they're coming, so I think they'll be a nice thing to own, and you all can start bidding on them.
Yeah, well, if anyone wants to start it off, then just pop it in the comment section and we'll get that going. In the meantime, Klaus will offer this one at the end of the show or whenever he's finished. And if anyone wants it CGC'd, we can actually do that as well. So you can enjoy. And then the other thing that we're going to do today is we're going to do a little fundraising for the New Jersey Food Bank, as my hometown and a few towns surrounding got hit with the hurricane, and a bunch of people.
Yeah, Jay, tell me what happened. I meant to ask you.
We got lucky. I was surprised we didn't get hit with anything worse. But the surrounding towns are underwater. A lot of people had to be evacuated. So we're going to take some food donations and send it over to the New Jersey Food Bank or to the Planned Parenthood Action Fund for Texas. So if anyone out there wants to donate $20, we'll send you a print from any of the guys out to you in the U.S.
That's a good deal.
And we'll just make a donation later today or tomorrow for anyone who wants to do that. So just send me a PayPal to Jason at Essential Sequential with your mailing address, and we'll send something out this week for you.
Klaus, did you get hit hard by it, or you're okay too?
Yeah, I was okay. The Manhattan.
I mean, I saw some scary subway footage.
Yeah, the subway's got. I was just going to say the subway. Yeah, that was real. Well, the subway footage is scary anytime.
right. That's true.
I'm kidding. New York.
Right.
I'm really kidding. But yeah, some of that 28th Street, it was like a tsunami coming down. But
yeah,
Queens got hit bad.
Brooklyn got hit bad too, I heard.
Yeah. And the funny thing is that the stuff you see on TV doesn't really begin to cover how bad some of the areas were. You only see you don't see 360 degrees on TV. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. So you're just seeing, one angle of the camera, but
right.
It was pretty. That night was scary because it was really coming down.
Really?
Noisy, windy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I saw a few people. Like I saw Thierry's basement flooded.
Yeah, one of my girlfriends who lives a few towns over, her basement flooded, her car flooded, trees came down. So we went over. They've got two young toddlers, so we took them for the night so they could clean up their house and get some rest.
Oh, wow. That was really awesome of you. That was a big help, I bet.
Yeah, she got some sleep, and they're still.
And how did you do with two toddlers, Jay?
They were good. They're really good kids. So we just fed them pizza and ice cream and watched movies.
How old are we talking about here?
I think they're 6 or 7. They're twins. They're like the cutest little girls. So
okay, well that's a good age. That's a really good age.
Yeah, we just hung out with the cats and the dogs, and watched some Bob's Burgers, and everyone was happy.
Nice.
So, if anyone has any questions out there in La La Land, just pop them in the comment section.
Yeah, I mean, I'm applying the local colors now on top of everything I've done. So you can see like that Wolverine's got a green in the background. I'm getting the blue in on his costume. But with all those colors under it, since I'm using my acrylic so thin and transparent, they all affect each other in a pleasant way.
You're
a little blurry.
Yeah,
it's blurry. I can focus.
It was. Now it's good. Yeah.
Okay.
That looks great, Shawn.
Thank you.
Really, that looks fantastic.
Thank you. I find when I get to the final stage where I lay in the opaques, that's when it really comes to life. But
you nailed his colors. The purple of his outfit.
Thank you.
Right on the button.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm enjoying this. I'll show you guys. So the paint, hold on one second. So these paints I use, these alpha acrylics.
Oh, hold on, let me swap over. Yeah.
They have a sherbet series where they're like these fleshy colors. This is lemon. This is raspberry sherbet. They have orange. It's great because I can use them as flesh tones and lean the flesh towards the color theory. So like Batman, since we're going purple, I'm going to go a little raspberry on on the sherbet there. And since Wolverine, I'm leaning a little yellow, I'm going to go lemon on that.
Getting hungry.
Anytime you name a pigment after food, it's a good thing.
So let's go with. We're going to do a little sale for the Mr. Miracle pages. There's 2 left on the site. So if anyone wants to claim them, just use Mitch MM125 at the checkout for those last 2 pages.
Those are prints of the pages, Jay?
Yeah, they're high energy clays that we made on hot press paper.
Okay.
So they're pretty sweet.
Those are selling for a lot of money.
Yeah, fans were digging them. So they're
I
only
was
going to be
shocked
available
to
to tomorrow.
like a print sell for that much. That's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, some of the other creators, I've seen them go for actually a lot more for their artist proofs.
Really?
Yeah. Yep.
Wow. What do you do? Just one of ones?
Yep, just one of ones. And, we're using archival inks, high quality paper stocks.
Sure.
And that's all that's going to be made available from Mitch.
Wow. All righty.
So go check it out.
That's pretty crazy.
Let's see if we'll get Eric to come in. But Dave, I think, is bailing today.
It happens. Stuff happens.
John Amore's here. Hey, John. He's over in the Philippines.
Hey, John. 2 a.m. Jeez.
You should come in, hang out. Eric said he would come in. Should we take a look at some?
I love how, Jay, show this real quick, how when I lay that sherbet on top of the skin on Batman's face, the color pencil really sits back like it's like a color hold on Photoshop almost. It's a nice effect. And then I can go back in on top of it with the color pencil and bring some darks out if I want. But I don't know. I like, in the end, I have like, it's almost like an animated cell look I get.
You usually use pretty unique colors, yeah?
Yeah. That I do.
Jennifer says, this looks so great, Shawn.
Thank you, Jennifer. Do you want to bid on one of them? Here, watch. I'll show you I'm going to use the lemon sherbet over Wolverine's face. And you'll see how like all the skin, all the pencil work gets knocked back a bit. See, I can see it in there on the right side. That yellow just kind of disappears a bit. The color pencil lays back. That was a real pleasant discovery when I first hit these colors. So if you're into painting, get yourself some of these. Use the link, use the code. You'll get a good little discount. There we go.
All righty. Where is that code? That code is right here.
Yeah, Ink Pulp 10 at the Alpha Acrylic site. Use that very specific link we have, and you'll get 25% off. If you go to the regular site, you'll just get 10% off. But if you use my link, you'll get 25 with the code.
But what does Klaus get?
Whatever Klaus wants, Klaus gets.
Okay, Mr. Mysterious has a question. If you could write and direct a live-action DC movie, what superhero or supervillain would you have the movie be about?
Klaus, you got an answer on that one?
I'd like to do Mr. A, not Mr. A. I'm thinking, the Question.
Oh, the question. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
I would like to do Etrigan the Demon.
Oh, that's a good one.
He's my favorite.
What was your favorite run on the Demon? Did you have one, Sean?
I like the Kirby stuff, but Matt Wagner wrote and drew a single issue that's like, I think, one of the best handles on the character I've seen. But I've also thought Bruce Timm and Paul Dini in the animated series really did a great job with him.
Yeah.
And of course, the comics they did with him in the animated series world were great. That annual they did with Batman and the Demon was awesome.
Have you ever thought of doing a demon pitch at DC?
I mean, I'd love to do the Demon. I don't know. I guess I feel like these publishers wouldn't be open to anything I'd want to do. I don't know.
That might be true, but you'd be good on it.
Yeah, I'd have a lot of fun with it. That's for damn sure. I don't think he's been like handled very well.
Oh, I agree.
For most of the life of the character. I mean, the last thing they did. Well, actually, like before the last thing they did, he looked like the Demon, but before that, they redesigned him. It looked terrible.
Yeah, he's one of those characters that they don't know what to do with.
Yeah, which is silly because if you just watch the animated series, it's like, oh, okay, that's all you got to do. I mean, just write Hellboy and Gotham, and you got a good Demon series.
Yes, that's right. There's another character that they don't know what to do with, which is the Creeper. Do you remember the Creeper?
Of course, Ditko's Creeper. I love the Creeper. He's another great one. Yeah. Well, also Lobo. I think they keep messing with Lobo when Lobo was great. What like? I don't know what they keep doing. What they keep doing to him? Like you don't need anything more than like that Giffen stuff. That was great stuff.
I think they gave Lobo a daughter. Did they not?
I don't know.
But that it's one of those things where everybody gets a daughter or a sister or somebody. It's the kind of that phase that we're in.
Right.
Canete did a Creeper for Wednesday's Comics a few years ago. That was pretty good.
Oh, I'll have to take a look at that.
I don't remember Eric doing that. I'll have to look at that.
Yeah, he just did a one-page story.
Did he write it, Jason?
No, I forget who did. I just sold the original just like a few weeks ago, so I've had it here for a few years. But it's all oversized. It was really cool.
I'm sure it was. I mean, Eric's brilliant.
Yeah, let me see if I can find the image here. I'll see if I can pop it up on the screen.
Eric is amazing. He's so talented. He's so good at what he does.
Yeah, he really is.
His Instagram posts make me sick.
Yep.
They're just so good,
I know.
It's a good thing he has a shitty personality.
Okay, I found his page. I'll pop it up here in a second.
You found whose page? Eric's?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the Creeper page?
Yep.
All right, cool. Yeah.
Can you bring it up on the screen?
Yep, I'm just uploading it. Give me 2 seconds. Oop, that's his prelim. Can you see it there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, wow. It was just a one-page thing he did?
Yep.
And they didn't continue it after that?
Nope. Just one and done.
Huh. All right. Who'da knew? Who'da thunk it?
think that the creeper is hard to draw because I never know what to do with that mane that he's got, right? That lion mane.
Yeah.
How do you handle that? Is that hair? Is that cloth?
Right.
What is it?
I did at the beginning of the pandemic. I got a creeper painted commission. I had a lot of fun with.
So quiet.
Klaus, what are you working on other than like job wise right now?
I'm really working on getting some new projects off the ground, some creator-owned stuff.
Excellent.
And the only thing I'm really drawing right now is sacred creatures.
Good.
Which I'm enjoying the hell out of, I have to say.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's really great.
I haven't done any work for Marvel or DC in probably like 8 months or 7 months, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I just did something small for them, but that's all I've done in the past 2 years.
Yeah, I think I don't know if this is really true, but I think there's just a turnover in terms of the people they're using. I don't know. What do you think?
I don't. I mean, I'm trying to formulate hypotheses, I guess, but I mean, I feel like the creators aren't as excited about working there these days. I think the scripts are pretty crummy. I think the corporate direction both the companies are trying to push onto their books is not very interesting. I think the pay is pretty crummy. I don't know. I think like you've got all these brilliant cartoonist artists out there that are realizing, and there's more avenues now, and it's probably the internet, that they can just go have more fun and make more money doing their own thing.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
And the audience is definitely there for that.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, Eric. Is Eric on?
Eric just joined us from
Portland. Eric, E-Rock.
Hello, Sean. Hello, Klaus.
Hello, Eric.
It feels like we've done this before.
Have we?
Well.
So it's deja vu all over again?
But it's the best kind of deja vu.
I enjoy it.
Well, I wouldn't go that far. I just said deja vu, but okay.
Well, I can enjoy it. Maybe
you cannot.
Eric, how's the new baby?
The new baby is not sleeping.
Oof.
And has the vocal range of a old school opera singer.
So you're raising a Steve Tyler, is what you're doing.
I really am. Short of a microphone with a handkerchief on it, I think what we have here is a future rock star.
Christmas is coming up, Eric. I know what to get you.
Oh, I thought you meant like I know what to get you, Sean. It's a kid with a really wide vocal range.
I've got one already.
Oh, okay.
I don't need more.
But yeah, no. Jokes aside, great kid is obviously very healthy. I can't imagine a virgin in which she is not. So that's good.
That's very good.
Just got to make it through this portion, this part.
Right.
Until the next portion?
Until the next 20 some odd years, Jason.
Yep.
Exactly.
How's everyone's morning? Klaus, always a great illustration from you. Sean, gold star for effort. Well done.
So condescending.
No, it was a gold star. It wasn't a silver star. It was a gold star.
For effort, though. For effort.
Oh, well,
All right. Well, I prepared some art to sell, and we're going to do a little charity benefit for the Food Bank of New Jersey and Planned Parenthood Action Fund. So if anyone wants to make a $20 donation, just send over to Jason at Essential Sequential. We'll send out some prints to whomever donates, and we'll make a donation at the end of the day with whatever you guys send over. And then I think Klaus said he'll make a donation. I'll make a donation.
Watch to match each donation that comes in. Is that the generosity that is Klaus Janson?
I didn't say that.
Eric, what are you working on?
I'm not
Arcathina?
losing my shit, Sean.
Oh, you're doing the piece from last week?
I am, because this is a nice break from anything and everything that's not Arcathina related. Now, don't get me wrong, I love that project. I absolutely love that project, but it is the you guys seen that that performer that tries to keep a bunch of plates spinning at any given time? Have you seen that before?
Of course.
It's that to a T. It's a lot of spinning plates.
Sure.
But it's been a lot of fun. It's exhausting, and I think I mentioned this last week. It's exhausting in the exercise, but fulfilling in the experience.
That's great.
Yeah. And it gives me an appreciation for, and I don't want to give too much credit to them, but it gives me an appreciation for the publishers that we've just kind of handed over pages to, you know?
Right.
Because, and I know it's multiple people doing different jobs or at different stages of the process or the assembly line, so to speak. But it does give me an appreciation for any time that somebody makes a call on paper, for instance, you know. We were talking letterheads and fonts last week. To which, by the way, I don't know if I was clear, but I was just making fun of Dan. I really haven't
we got that. We got that.
Well, for us, because we hang out a lot, but there may have been people in the chat that weren't as familiar with the comfortable nature of our relationship.
Did Dan make you feel bad, Eric? Is that what's happening?
No, I don't care about Dan. I care about my own reputation, though.
Just kidding.
Yeah. No, I don't care about Dan. I mean, ultimately, I just don't want to come off like a jerk to people who don't know that we're messing around, you know.
I got you.
You know, right before you came on, Eric, we were talking about this piece. Do you remember it?
Yeah, that was a Wednesday back when Mark Chiarella was running special projects and group editor, or what was he? I can't recall his official title over there, but
Art
this was
director?
yes. But in this particular case, when he was putting together the oversized Wednesday's comics books,
Right.
and he had reached out and said, "Hey, Eric, would you like to have this one pager?" Was Wednesday's comics all one pager, or was it like short segments?
It was all one pagers, but I know. But I think most of them lasted it was like you got a page a week. So like I think Ben Caldwell did Wonder Woman, but every week you got a Ben Caldwell Wonder Woman page. I was surprised to hear the Creeper was just one page and done.
Yeah, and so that was the assignment.
The Metal Men, there were a whole bunch of Canete
right on.
was done by Ryan Sook, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, there were a whole bunch of good artists.
There you go. And it's unsurprising only because, you know, Mark was at the front end of it, right? So that's, to me anyway, I don't know if anybody else saw it this way, but that sort of special invite only kind of a thing to be involved in this project was a feather in my cap. So I enthusiastically said yes and took it on right away. The other added, so there was the bonus at the end was that there was no immediate color artist that was available. So Mark took on the job.
Oh, that's awesome.
He's the guy that colored this page.
Oh, that's
with
really
that
cool.
with that Chiarello subdued flair, so to speak, if that could be further from oxymoronic. But there it was, and I had a lot of fun doing it. When it got published, I was, you know, again, I was in a book of a collection of great artists, and it took I think it was near the tail end of that collection, but I was so proud to be part of that group. Look at that still holds up. That doesn't look too shabby.
Yeah, it's cool.
I'm still
we just
pretty
sold the
proud of that
original.
page.
Yeah, I was surprised it took so long to sell.
I think maybe this is an advantageous avenue that we have by streaming and showing pages at the same time, Jason.
Yeah, well, that one sold like a few weeks ago. But,
I see.
yeah.
Huh. You're
We'll see
doing
what it-
something right, kiddo.
Yeah. Yep. Feel free to bid on these. The little Batman and Wolverine we got working over here.
And as soon as I finish this, I mean, it's not, you bidding now or you reaching out to Jason now is not me finishing it. Should not be a prohibitive. You can ask Jason, hey, how much does this classic X-Men piece cost? More than happy to sell it to you ahead of time. As soon as I finish, I send it out to Jason, and bing, bang, boom, the original is yours.
Bing, bang, boom.
Bing, bang, boom. I like it.
So Eric, is that gonna be in color or just value?
Probably value. I don't know. It typically when I'm done, I go like, oh, I have more energy to do X, and that's when I decide. But for the time being, the exercise is to do the value drawing.
Okie dokie. Gotcha.
Is there Jason, in your experience, is there an uptick in asking price once it starts going into color, or even if there's just like hints of color?
Not that I recall. The problem that I have is I don't know when you're going to finish. So,
How do you mean?
or what it's going to look like completed. So it's a little bit difficult to price out. So,
But would you price it more if it was in color versus
yes,
value?
yeah.
Really?
Okay, if there's a starting bid, if not, I'll go with $50 each for
All right.
Federico.
All right, Federico started the bidding.
All right,
Awesome.
thanks, Federico.
Thank you, Federico.
I'm going to try to finish. I can stay with you guys for about an hour or so. I'm going to try to finish this before that hour is over, at least the rendering part. So
Yeah, I
if
should definitely be done in an hour or two.
Yeah. And if anybody is, it brings it closer to what the final would look like. It's still not going to be final because I still need to put the ink line or the holding line around it. But I should pick up speed because this campaign is coming up pretty quickly and there's a lot of original art involved. And I gotta get my chops back up again. I haven't drawn anything original art related for about a year and a half now.
Wow.
Sorry, Jay.
Yeah, thanks, Eric.
Yeah, no problem.
Nah, that's okay.
What did I walk into? What conversation did I walk into? And you were saying something about opportunity avenues of other opportunity. Shawn, is that what you were saying?
I was saying what?
You said there's other opportunities for artists to be.
Someone I asked what Klaus was asking why I think, and we were both talking about why there seems to be like a migration away from artists we know working at Marvel and DC.
What did you guys come up with?
We were just getting started when you popped on. But I had said I feel like my opinion was that the scripts aren't as fun or as good. The pay isn't good. The deadlines are brutal. And
Wait, define what good means to you, Shawn. Because that's subjective, right?
yeah, well, to me.
Yeah.
So I find that you've got a culture of writers who don't know the craft. And while they might have good ideas, and Klaus, you're working with probably much higher name, like much more popular writers than I've worked with. But I just find that my job became script fixer rather than storyteller, and it was no longer fun. I had a few good experiences where that wasn't the case, but it just seemed more and more that's like they were like, oh, we got this person's big in TV, so the book will sell, and it's like, okay, but they don't know how to write a comic book. And then I just felt like the medium was suffering and I wasn't enjoying it. And it was hard to get in there and really tell an interesting story when you're spending so much time just trying to make it make sense.
What do you think, Klaus?
I think there's definitely a lot of that going on. Yeah, and I think that I mean, maybe this is a longer conversation, but I think that the industry has changed tremendously in just the last 6 months, let alone the last 6 years.
Can I follow up on that, Klaus? What changes have you seen in the industry that substantiate what you just said? What significant ones have you seen?
I think certainly in terms of being a creative person, whether you're a writer or an artist, it's changed substantially in terms of the power that you have and the platforms that you have to get your work out to the public. So it's no longer Marvel and DC. It's a lot of Francis Ford Coppola about 20 years ago. I remember reading an article about an interview with him, and he postulated that the technology is going to allow us to make movies in our basements, and the same thing applies to comics.
I agree with that. Yeah, I think that's a big part of it. I think because of technology, because of the internet, because of social media, it's like Eric's exploring it right now. We have this ability to create our own stuff and get it out there. That was when I was trying to get in, that was not unheard of, but nearly impossible. I mean, you had people like the Ninja Turtles creators, they figured out their way of doing it, but it was a huge financial risk. It was a difficult thing to do. And nowadays it's different. I mean, you have crowdfunding now. You can have an idea. I mean, I know this isn't what Eric's doing, but people do this where they're like, get a few pages done, get some concept work and put it up in crowdfunding and raise the money you would need to bring it to a finish.
So you think because of these avenues of opportunity, people are sidestepping or opting out of doing mainstream stuff?
I think it's what I said before mixed with that.
Okay.
If you're I think that what drives anyone to work for, say, an established mainstream company, and I don't mean to mention Marvel and DC all the time because they're not, they're not pernicious or evil, certainly not. But I think what drives anyone to work for Marvel or DC is, number one, the love of the characters. You're dying to draw Spider-Man, right? So the only place you can do that is, of course, Marvel.
Yes.
And then the other thing is, if you're very business oriented, or if you've got a career plan, it used to be, at least up until this point, maybe it's different, or it's starting to change, that Marvel and DC is the place where you go to make your name and to make your reputation, and then you go off and do your create your own stuff. And that you mentioned the Mutant Ninja Turtles, and the Hernandez brothers is also part of that, right?
And Dave Lapham's Stray Bullets too. I mean,
exactly right. And they never went to Marvel or DC. Well, Dave Lapham did some work at Marvel.
Yeah, so did Gilbert Hernandez. Did some Vertigo stuff and some DC stuff.
That's right. But they never needed it to
right
to make a living or to establish their reputation. And I think to some degree, I mean, I've had a pet theory, which was that the industry changes as a result of the technology. And, when we got better printing and better coloring, that was when inking sort of was diminished in importance. because
Right.
the technology was just that much better, and coloring sort of took its place.
Yeah, I remember like artists I knew were like, "Oh, dude, I just scan in my pencils, adjust the levels in Photoshop, and I get paid like I inked it."
That's
And it was
exactly
like
right.
that's not inking, but it didn't matter. There was people making a killing doing that.
The thing that I would, and maybe this is way too in the weeds, but the thing that I lament is that the what passes for art or what passes for inking, if you want to talk about specific things, um, is not as good generally as let's say traditional stuff. And the thing that I lament is that we are raising an entire generation of an audience or customers who are used to seeing inferior work and thinking that this is good. At
Yeah,
least,
I think there's some truth to that, Klaus. But I also think, like in terms of inking, and you and I have had this conversation before. I feel like what's happened is trying to think of the right word, not the practitioner, the inking practitioner. Like, let's separate inkers, if we can, into categories. You've got the artisan, which I would put you in, Klaus, the visionary inker. You have a unique style, and you're always pushing and playing with the medium. You're not just a serviceable inker. And then I'd say like the practitioner is more get the job done, more focus on being serviceable, getting it done quick, getting it done clean. I think what's happened is like the practitioner jobs might be vanishing, but the visionary people are pushing inks into really exciting territories. And I think my experience is that people are really responding to what some of these inkers are doing, like Mateo, for example, or Sean Murphy, or what Eric's doing. So like I think the more serviceable inker work might be drying up, and maybe the inks that are replacing it are not as good. But I do think that the craft and medium of inking is in a very exciting time.
oh, that's interesting. Huh.
Sean,
When,
Klaus
when,
says you're wrong.
I know. Well, we've had this talk a lot. I know Klaus. What
but
I've
Sean,
learned from Klaus is Klaus hopes that's the case, but isn't sure it is.
well, Sean, let me ask you: when you talk about inking, you're talking about art, or are you talking about artists who ink their own work?
Oh, yeah, that's a good differentiation. Yeah, I guess most of the people I mentioned are inking themselves, but I'm just talking about the craft of inking. And sure, when you're inking someone else, it's not all your vision, but
Right.
yeah, I guess that's a discussion to be had.
Well, that's interesting, Jay. I see what you're saying. Draftsmanship is starting to get lost in comics. Um, that's 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 interesting. If Jay says that draftsmanship is starting to get lost in comics. Jay, why do you say that?
Here,
I mean,
let me
what is the cause behind it?
let me propose a potential answer because I was already thinking about this when you were talking,
I'm
Klaus.
all ears.
I think at one point there were people put in place, especially near its maturation. I would say late 70s, early 80s, when the potential of comics were being realized, not necessarily because it was being optimized, when it was being realized what it could be as an execution of like a different form of entertainment that was not movies, that was not television. And there were people in place in these even in mainstream, not just in the independent publishing space, but in the mainstream space. People really held themselves accountable to what that potential could possibly look like. So that's why there were a lot of attempts into elevating the craft and the art form, right? Elevating even just on paper alone and execution of color, right? People were experimenting in how do we get this thing to look as good as possible. And so there were individuals who made it their personal business, people in leadership positions that were holding themselves to a higher form or a higher form of accountability, which means how do we make this thing look as good as it can? And then and one version of implementation or one concept of implementation is how do we get to people who know what they're doing into these spaces, whether it be art, whether it be writing, whether it be editing. And by doing that, you foster and you build a foundational system of a culture that holds that in high regard. And so if there were any sort of like filtering systems to people who weren't quite ready to occupy those spaces, there were people in place that were establishing what that standard looked like, right? You can't be a penciler and or artist in these mainstream spaces, or a creator in these mainstream spaces, unless you cross a threshold of professionalism embodied by your work, right? And from there, they build you up, right? There's actual mentorship involved, again, in both writing and in drawing and draftsmanship that helped elevate and escalate these people. And there isn't that culture built into mainstream anymore. It's not
specifically the culture of mentorship.
Yes, but also accountability, right? Also of understanding what the product is and what the product is trying to what the product is trying to do. What are we doing with these mainstream books? Are we in the business of entertaining? Are we in the business of like understanding its lineage and its history and propping that up? Right? Hey, we know what Spider-Man has looked like for 50 years. We understand that the people who used to support Spider-Man are either aging out or want to have this thing to transform into something else. And we hold that in high regard, right? We understand. So I'll use the technology industry as a point of reference. At any point in time, if you look at Apple broadly as a computer and microchip company and technology company, it didn't start realizing it's an entertainment company up until recently, but generally it saw itself as a technology company. At any point in time, somebody could have gone to Apple in version of its history and said, "Hey, you know what? We make computer chips and we make technology. Microwaves are a technology, right? Mm-hmm. Don't you think we should start manufacturing microwaves because there's computer chips in there?" And thankfully, and this is what do you call it, hypothetical, but thankfully somebody said, more than a technology company, we are a computer company, right? And more important than that, we are a premium computer company. And that's why we won't make our technology, our computers, easily accessible by way of operating system. We are a closed, at one point in its history before incorporation of Intel, right? We are a closed system in which we are very specific about how we curate the programs, the apps, the participation of third-party makers into our ecosystem because we are that protective about it. They've established themselves as being that sort of culture, and in a way, at one point, early 80s, late 70s, comics did that as well. Right. But unfortunately, though, the stewardship of that has either lessened, weakened, or is non-existent. And so now you're getting comics that are, to your guys' point, to bring it all back, less than ideal because nobody is upholding a standard. Now, who is there to establish that ideal? I believe Marvel has done that for themselves already, historically. Marvel and DC have done that historically. And it's unfortunate that nobody goes, we have to maintain a version of this. And by the way, it's scalable and updatable, right? To say that it's like, oh, well, that's, that creates a pocket of just being held in stasis tradition in style and in both writing and illustration. That's not what I'm talking about. You have to understand what your IP is. You have to understand and respect the audience that you're either built up already or continue to, or that you're the aspirational audience that you want to incorporate. And they don't have that. I'm firm in that belief. Right now, they have leadership in both sides that are just doing their very best to either A, maintain their readership, which is a monumental task, but also don't understand its history, and they don't build anything on top of that. They just launch and a clear, to me, a clear sign that they have no idea of how to maintain that stewardship is to continuously relaunch upon relaunch upon relaunch. In a side conversation offline, somebody told me we were talking about what a big deal it was for Batman to cross the 300th issue. You know, what a big deal that was in its legacy and in its accomplishment. And nowadays, if you cross issue 50, you'd be surprised.
Right. Hey guys,
That's
I'm
what
going
I
to be
mean.
right back. I'm just going to be washing out my brushes and changing out my palette. But continue on.
Yep, and that's what I mean in
Eric,
establishing a culture. You know.
All right, but Eric, let me jump in. I think I understand what it is that what your point is, and at least part of your point is, that there isn't that stewardship, to use your word,
Yep.
that has any vision. I mean, isn't that correct?
100%.
What you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah, and so, what do we expect from, and I'm asking, what do we expect from a corporation who owes their stockholders, a certain amount of profit every quarter?
Mm-hmm.
And of course, the companies are going to, whether it's any company, whether it's
Mm-hmm.
a comic book company or a tech company, they're going to appeal to the lowest common denominator in order
Yep.
to broaden their profit margin.
Yes.
And appeal to the stockholders. I mean,
Yep.
my question is, isn't that the thing that really changed with comics? Is that they became major corporations that started to really, words are failing me this morning, but they serve or they worship a different god.
Yes.
And the god is profit
Yes.
now, as
Yes.
opposed to what it was 30 years ago, when it
Mhm.
might have been entertainment or fun or the craft or a certain. And we were talking earlier about your creeper page, and Chiarello is someone, obviously, I think we all agree, that did have a vision. And where is he? He's not at DC anymore.
For sure.
And that's a symptom, I think, of what you're saying, and the accuracy of what you're saying. But you know what I'm saying about the profit margin, Eric,
Yes.
right?
No, I know exactly what you're talking about, which is to say, like, I love the analogy of like you're now serving different gods, and that does make sense to me. However, and I understand as an exercise, you have to see the goals have shifted in its bottom line. What it shouldn't have shifted is the representation of what the product is, right? So yes, you still have to, you still have to deliver X amount of dollars to your shareholders, yes? And the exercise of going and trying to understand where a potential audience could be in order to deliver those dollar signs to your shareholders, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I say go explore. But after a while, when data is coming back to you and saying this is actually not the gold mine that we think it is, right? A creative vision holder would know how to pivot smartly and say, okay, let's get back to what got us here in the first place. Because in our attempts to go and find a new audience, the new audience exists, they just don't impact our bottom line. So we have to go find a way to course correct and say, okay, our bottom line is this, right? And we can't find it in this potential, in this new audience, wherever it is that we've looked. And I say, give it time. Sometimes it takes 3 years for that new audience to maturate, but they've had more than ample time to figure out what that is. They still haven't found it. They continuously cater to that audience, which is like the relaunch slash progressive audience that they can't possibly squeeze any. It's like squeezing water out of a rock, you know, and not realizing in that exercise they are alienating a whole crap load of people.
Yeah, no, you're totally correct on that, and I really agree with that. I guess I think that, you know, to some degree, and I could be wrong about this, but I sort of don't blame the companies for relaunching a comic every 50 or 25 issues, because they are so lacking in any other idea.
There, you nailed the proverbial nail right on the head, which means the guys who are coming up with these ideas are ill suited to run a company. If
Yes,
that is your if
right.
that is your playbook, is to
Right.
launch and relaunch, and
Right.
the returns diminish every time that you do it, that's not business, right? You were the magic trick that worked once,
Yeah.
right, on 5-year-olds,
Yeah.
and you can't possibly continue to do that same exact magic trick over and over again and expect the same results. The surprise, the sort of like, ooh, the bump, the sales bump isn't working anymore. That's not business, right? I often point to, again, and I exclusively point to leadership and go, what are you doing? Why don't you understand that you have Spider-Man in your back pocket?
Yeah. No, I hear you, and I think we're in agreement on this.
Yeah.
I don't know how to, you know, when Dave was on 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks
Yeah.
ago, and Jay, by the way, I'm reading all your postings, all your comments. But when Dave was on a couple weeks ago, we were just starting to talk about, you know, the theoretical, you know, possible diminishment of craft or ability, you know, the ability to draw,
Yeah.
you know, however you want to characterize it.
Yeah.
And my question is, well, what do we do about that? You know,
We as creators, or we as an industry. How do you mean?
well, I think both, Eric. You know, I wonder what it is that you know. I'd be curious to hear what you had to say about that.
I
What
think
do
we
we do about it?
I can't speak for Marvel because that's not my business, right? Like,
Sure.
I can be a critic from the perspective of like, I understand how a business like that can be run, but without being behind that particular door, there's no way for me to be accurate. So at best, I'm speculative, right? But my answer is always understand your product and have a respect for the IP that you're making. John just asked a question in chat, like, is it fair to expect this level of stewardship when each new creative team comes with a reset of the status quo? And that's the concept that is an expected thing is misleading, right? And at best, it breaks the stewardship. When a new creative team comes on, they have, obviously you bring them on because they have the potential that they've been vetted in such a way that they have their own personal publishing experience that makes you go like, oh, that's great, we know the potential of you and we are bringing you on to help elevate our characters and our IP. If at some point that creative team goes, well, we're going to turn everybody purple this issue, we're going to make everybody rapists and murderers, right? Stewardship goes, no, you can't. We're sorry, but that's not what we do here. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes.
So to answer John's question, like, is it fair, right, to expect this level of stewardship? The answer is it's expected of that stewardship to rein all of that in. If suddenly they are writing questionable characters, questionable motivations, questionable storylines that doesn't align to your understanding of that stewardship of that IP, the answer is no, we can't do that. And that happens across the board everywhere. Nobody short of their own personal projects, short of their own creator-owned projects, are allowed to run roughshod over like an IP. You know, if suddenly tomorrow, even the coolest, movie, like even if Quentin Tarantino in his like accolades suddenly goes like, yeah, I'm gonna turn Batman purple. That shouldn't happen, ever, 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 ever. There should be systems in place, including that stewardship, to go like, that's nice, Quentin, but that's not what we do here. And that doesn't exist in mainstream comics. Nobody is wise enough. Nobody is brave enough to pull that trigger on creators.
Well, I hear what you're saying, and I think you're totally correct about that. I agree. It's a one of the if you were going to characterize how the stewardship, and I love that word, Eric, but if you're going to characterize how the stewardship of the publishers is actually operating today. They're operating with under the assumption that comics are sneakers or razor blades,
Sure.
or they're just it's not. There's such a lack of creativity involved, or even knowledge. I mean, I think we would agree about that. That they just want to market, the IP or Spider-Man or Batman or whatever it is, so that number one, they can survive, and number two, they can, potentially sell some pajamas.
But here's Klaus, and I'm going to say something really weird. That's okay. Like, they're okay, because again, that's enough for me at the very least to have an understanding of what your product is. We are we can leverage this product in such a way that we can put it onto pajamas. That's all right. That's totally fine if that's what you're trying to do. But if there is a disconnect currently, especially in the higher profile titles, that diminishes that pajamas initiative,
Of course,
where it's like,
yes.
I don't want to wear pajamas of these characters because these characters are not fun to read, are not fun to look at. These aren't fun to collect. So if you're if part of the extension of your company is pajamas, then cool. But at the very least, have that be in line. There is no Mickey Mouse movie that has him being a chainsaw rapist. Because that's not aligned to the IP. Right? He's gonna be on pajamas. So it's not as if they can't make pajamas out of the X-Men. Just make it so that the X-Men are pajama worthy. And right now, they're not.
But also, Klaus, this is a time for us where we don't have to stick around and deal with all that. So on a positive note, I think there's a lot of room for us to go out and just be creative and make things we enjoy.
Yeah, to Shawn's point, and I think you asked this earlier, Klaus, was like, what can we do?
Right.
And this is incredibly pessimistic, but like I look at Marvel and I go, like, good luck to you, I can't. There's no more left in me to want to care about how they should course correct at this point. Rather, to say, look at all of these. To Shawn's point, like look at all of these opportunities that are available to you now.
That's exactly right.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that's exactly right. And so the question of how do we handle Marvel or DC or any corporate owner of their properties is we don't.
Right.
Right.
We
let them do what they do, and we go off and we do our own thing where we have control and hopefully better decision making.
Correct. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Or at the very least, proof out everything that we're talking about right now, because.
And I think we would agree that there's nothing wrong with those two business models running parallel.
Correct.
It's pretty pointless to rail against, say, Marvel and DC for how they approach their product or their IP.
Yes.
We have nothing to say about it.
Right, and that was my point in saying on a positive side, like we just don't have to deal with it.
Well, my friend, there's a good friend of mine named Michael DiNicola who oftentimes when I get riled up over decision making in the mainstream space, right? He says this and I hold it to heart. And he says, what that guy eats doesn't make me shit. And I know that's incredibly crass, but I think it perfectly encapsulates what you and I are, what we're all talking about right now, which is.
I really have to think about that one.
what he's saying is that the decision making and the diet decisions that somebody else whatever they end up consuming doesn't come out of my butt, right? Like I am the person that is in charge of whatever it is that I'm doing,
That's right. And I think I was just going to say that it's up to us individually and collectively, but really mostly individually. I think to take advantage of that.
Yes.
To take advantage of all the opportunities that we know are out there, and that can serve the medium in a more respectful way.
I agree.
That's exactly right.
And I think, I was talking to, who was I talking to? I was talking to a group of people who have just gotten into the crowdfunding space. And I love hanging out with them because it reminds me of my days this was way before San Diego Comic-Con turned into the juggernaut that it's become today. But I remember when it was a whole lot more acceptable to the point where you can show up weekend up and still have tickets available,
Right.
And it was really Artist Alley heavy, not centric, but Artist Alley heavy, in which there were a lot of different people who were doing their own sort of like publishing, right? And Shawn made a point to say this earlier, but it was almost, those publishing costs were astronomical, right? Almost prohibitive to the kind of things that are accessible. In contrast, so much more different than what's available to us now.
That's right.
And the part that I love is the fact that it is available to us now. Whereas before, the investment that you would have to make from whether or not a comic book would eventually see the light of day in print, right? That's so much more approachable now. Now, it doesn't account for the level of success that it may or may not achieve, but the accessibility of printing it and getting it out into the world is so much easier. And I'm just talking about print. I'm not even talking about digital anymore. Printing it.
And cheaper, of course, as I know that's part of your equation. Yeah, it definitely is. Yeah.
Anyway, I love that now more than ever, and I'm hanging out with a group of people who maybe not have had that personal experience, so I always get these looks from them like, "Oh, I guess so, old man." But I'm like, "Okay, you kids don't know how easy you have it. I can go to a website and crowdfund a book. What? That's like asking a bunch of different people. Trust me,
I can't tell if getting older is a good experience or like a horror show, because I'm always thinking, kids these days, they got it,
Yeah. Oftentimes, there's an animated meme out there that has Mad Max played by, who's the most recent Mad Max? I can't remember the actor's name.
Tom Hardy.
Tom Hardy, yeah. And there's a meme that says he's pointing at camera. There's a scene from the movie that says, "That's a trap." I relate me getting older to that meme so much. Whereas people are getting hung up with exercises online, in social media in specific, where they're like getting into the weeds of something. And I often point at it and go like, yeah, that's a trap. I don't participate in that BS because I only have so much energy in my day.
That's a good attitude. I like that, Eric. It's a trap. Yeah, that's not bad. Interesting. Yeah.
Eric, what size paper?
Yeah, this is 11 by 17. I think.
So Jay, when we started this and I was painting, I said when I got to the opaques, I'd cue in. So here I am now. I'm working with the this acrylic wash opaque stuff, and this is where I think it all comes together. Hopefully, I don't screw it up.
Listen to that level of confidence, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm an experienced artist, Eric.
I can see. I can hear it in your tone.
You don't know who you're talking to, Eric.
Right.
I love it.
I've driven this particular bus around the block a few times already, man. So.
All right, guys. I think I'm done for the day. Jason, is
all right,
it all right if I go?
I guess so.
Did you finish, Klaus?
Yeah, I did my little thing here.
Very cool.
There you go.
Oh, nice.
Always a pleasure, Klaus. Thank you so much for making time, man.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Yeah, Klaus, good
Jason,
time.
Thanks, guys. Are we doing a stream next week, Jason?
Yeah, I think so.
I'll be here.
All
In
right.
fact, see you, Klaus.
We'll see you. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, if you guys are enjoying watching me paint, I'm open to suggestions for next week to do a similar thing where I'll take bids and I'll do a small painting and maybe one even a little bigger if there's a character you want to see.
That's
Or
the way
bid
to
on
do it, Ron.
We'll see.
All right, guys.
Yeah.
I'll see you next week. Okay?
All right, Klaus. See
Have a
you.
great weekend,
All
Klaus.
right.
Take care.
It's just you and me now, Sean.
Yes, it is, Eric.
You know what? We don't talk enough.
Me and you?
Yeah, offline.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I think I don't talk to anyone like I want to. And I think it's because I was so used to like cons, we'd get like some good hang time in. And
Yeah, this was typically our catch-up time, and it was awkward when we would have two shows back to back a weekend apart, because it'd be like, oh, did we not catch up last time? Like, but now I feel like
awkward, Eric. Is that what I didn't feel that way.
I did. I
Apparently.
did. I really absolutely dislike talking to you more than 2 weeks at a time.
Right.
But here's the thing. Right, I want us to just shift your focus, Sean. Stay
Go
with
ahead.
me.
Talk to me.
What I'm missing, or at least what I'm caught off guard by, and I don't know if you saw his most recent Twitter post, but Mateo just announced that he's doing stuff with Millar, right?
Yeah.
Which
yeah.
I knew about a long time ago, but I
Right.
felt like it came out of nowhere because we haven't caught up enough in those convention hangouts to sort of
Right.
update each other on like, hey, how's that coming along, or how many pages are
Right.
you in, or
Right.
what
I
phase,
agree.
you know what I mean? Like, how's that all shaping up, right? And so to
Right.
see it almost do like, almost pop up out of nowhere was sort of funny to be like, oh yeah, I haven't said hello to Mateo in what feels like forever.
Yeah. So to your point, we do need to. I need to probably organize some Zoom hangs for me and you and Mateo, and we can catch up.
Yeah, Jeff DeCal just did a cover for, what was it, like an X-Men book, and
Yeah. Oh, that White Queen.
yeah, it brought me so much pride to think about how far along he's come since we met a long, long time ago.
Right.
Where he was doing Marvel work back then, but just in its, and it's not it's not a matter of like getting the one or two pieces for Marvel. It's the consistent, ongoing work that he's getting, which I'm very, very proud of him for.
Right. For sure. In fact, I just released my ink pulp instruction with Jeff a couple days
Oh, right
ago.
on.
So, Jay, if you can throw that link up, you guys can get a copy of ink pulp instruction with Jeff DeCal. And you can go get one with Eric, and you can go get one with Tommy Lee, and one with Jim Mahfood, and one with me.
Let me find that. Oh,
Did you
not
hear
bad,
John?
Ink Pulp one.
Did you read John Amore Lie in chat saying he's going to be here next week?
Well, it is kind of late for him.
No, he's still lying though.
What else should we offer? How about Green Goblin? I lightened it up for you, Eric.
It's still not bright enough. Would you like me to do it?
Sure.
It just looks like we're looking into a dark room with like a small light in the upper right.
I wonder if that's the screen or the file.
It could be both. I mean, that
Right.
green is not what it looks like in Jason's hands,
Oh, okay. Okay, I see what you're saying.
What is a claim sale? What is
we-
Federico talking about?
We pop up a piece like this and then put out a price,
Oh, right on.
and someone claims it.
I
so
really
it'd be
like
like
that
this.
piece. Yeah, I really like that piece. That was so much fun to draw and experiment with. Words hurt. I think you used the wrong. I think truth hurts, John. Truth hurts. Truth hurts.
All right, so someone said do the creeper, by the way, Sean.
I think that's
Oh,
for you, Sean.
I'd be down with that. That sounds fun. That's a lot of color to play with right there.
And let's see. Can you do a Superman draw? Superman.
Who's that for?
I think that's
I don't know.
Sean.
Jose, is that for Eric or for Sean?
That's for Eric, because Sean hates drawing Superman.
I don't even know Superman. What's that character? Is it like Tintin?
Jay,
Right.
what were you going to say?
I think Federico claimed Green Goblin.
Oh, brilliant.
Nice. Federico's out there.
Is
Putting
that
the
correct?
bids in. Actually, Jay, give me the screen real quick, because now that I'm laying down some opaques, people are starting to see
Hold
this
on.
is coming together, and then they can see how awesome this would be to bid on. I mean, we're going to build the lights, but you can see the cowl is getting nice and blue now. What kind of show you running here, Jason?
It's the Cooper. It's the Cooper show.
It's professional.
Hold on, let me mute.
It's high end streaming quality. It's pro stream. That's what
What?
it is.
Pro streaming?
Yeah, I remember pro streaming. I don't do it as often as I used to, but I remember pro
Yeah,
streaming.
you used to be a professional streamer, Eric.
You didn't see my opening animation I made just for you, Eric.
Did you have an opening animation?
Yeah, you want to see it?
No, I don't.
Yeah, you did.
I mean, yes. Okay, fine. Let's see it.
Okay, wait. Here we go.
So fancy.
Fancy, right? Pretty good.
Worth every penny.
Well, y'all should subscribe to our channel.
Definitely.
I love it. Well done, Jason. Very classy.
Thank you. There's also an outro that we'll have at the end.
Okay. Is that soonish? Are we ending soonish? What are we doing?
Well, once you guys are done or have enough.
I'm not like soonish done. I mean, Eric was talking about stopping around 3. I'm thinking 3:30. I'll be all wrapped up.
All right. Well, should we pick some other art?
Yes, please.
Sure. And feel
Wait, did that
free to-
goblin one just sell? Right on.
Let's just double check. Federico, you were talking about the Green Goblin, correct? For Eric, which is this one?
Feel free to bid on the Batman Wolverine I'm doing on each one.
So we have that one. There's a small cowgirl from Eric.
Where are you finding these pieces, man?
These ones we used as inserts for the Encore books.
Oh,
So I had a few extras left over.
Yeah. Okay. Makes sense.
And I have, I don't want everything on me. There's a few other ones. This has nipples, so we can't show that. Some
Can I
other
show my
robots.
nipples?
It would have sold faster if you had shown it.
I can show my nipples.
I've got a Panosian magic piece.
Oh, put that back.
Should we just tear that one up since Dan's not here?
Yeah.
Well, don't tear it up, but
All right, so
I think
yeah.
tearing it up is okay.
So Federico claimed the Green Goblin.
Very good.
There's some Tim Sale ones, but we're going to save those for when Tim comes on.
Right.
We've got a
happening.
Federico Riccardo Federici drawing.
nice.
Oh, nice.
This one was sent by accident, so this one's available for anyone who wants it. I can pop up a scan.
Right.
And then let's see what else.
Okay.
Rod Reese just sent me a few pages.
Is he doing that New Mutant stuff all traditionally painted?
No, all his stuff is Giclées, so
Oh, okay.
it's doing 101 of APs. This one's already sold and heading out to France. But he has Bloodshot, Fantastic Four anniversary page. Got some Matteo Scalera covers.
Oh, nice.
Has Mateo declined to participate in any of these, Jay?
I think he's just busy. He said he'd come on sooner or later.
Yeah, it's also, it's later over there. And this is like his time with Frenchie.
Okay. I guess.
Eric, I thought you were working today on not coming across like an asshole.
No. I just said in that particular instance.
Oh, just that one. Okay.
Just that one, yeah.
Okay. Well, that makes sense.
I mean, I come off like an asshole now, but I apologize for it later.
Okay, I got you. I see.
All for the sake of laughs, buddy. All for the sake of laughs.
Hey, it's all in the name of comedy.
Now this time that we're spending streaming is the only time I get to work on traditional stuff. Everything else zips along digitally.
Is it just because it's faster and more editable? Is that why you're going more digital on most stuff?
You mean like with pages or in general?
I'm thinking in general.
Yeah, I think it's just got a lot to do with the pipeline being so much more fast.
Yeah.
It's a lot more forgiving to cheating. Cheating
Right,
in a
that's
sense of like not over rendering, like the brushes or whatever it is that you end up using are it's already built in the render, as opposed to sometimes here I have to like build up on something.
Right.
So it's not. I mean that's not but it's also prohibitive in a sense of like, oh, I can't get that exact line that I want, because the brush won't allow for it.
I got you.
We still have your Spider-Man painting from last week.
Oh. All right.
So don't forget that one. It comes with the prelim as well, if anyone's interested.
Sir.
I think we had that one at 800.
Yeah. I was just gonna say, I think we got a little special running on that one.
I think this one was around 11 by 17.
Yeah, it's exactly 11 by 17.
Oh, thanks for Peter for subscribing to the channel. Appreciate it.
I'm gonna get bored really soon, and I'm gonna start wanting to ink this stupid thing, and I know I shouldn't.
Why shouldn't you ink it?
Because there's a lot of things that I'm gonna end up doing in ink that is easier to execute in value. I'm gonna over render it and then try to go back in there and put value in, and it doesn't make any sense.
You're gonna kill it. Is that what you're saying, Eric?
Yes.
You're gonna overwork it.
I'm gonna overwork it. Yeah.
We still have that World War Hulk John Jr. Klaus page that is here.
Man, I can't buy that thing. I was so amped to get it last time that we all hung out. But then I'm like, dude, I got a freaking, crowdfunding campaign. Every dollar needs to go.
Do you want me to put it aside for your Christmas present?
Oh, I would love it. That would be a lot of fun. But what am I going to do with it? It's going to end up in my freaking portfolio. And
You wouldn't hang it up?
I rarely have any artwork hanging up on the comic book artwork hanging up on the wall, man.
Why is that?
I don't know. It's never
there
been
a
a thing
reason?
that I like doing. No, nothing against it. Nothing against people who do it. I just like,
All right. So you don't want it.
I don't want it. Nope. I do not. If you
And
can
it's-
somehow move it as a purchase to somebody else, because that looks awesome.
Let's see. Did I even put a price on it? I don't even think I put
No.
a price on it.
I don't think you had, because you were holding it for me and I felt awful.
All right.
Eric, you should probably just pay for it and then not own it.
And
Just-
down it.
Yeah,
Just so my conscience is clear. Is that what you're saying?
yes, exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying.
I'll pay for it with conscious dollar.
All right. All right.
What do I have? Like 4 minutes. I might as well excuse myself a little early. I've got to get back to my Sunday. Or Saturday. Saturday?
Saturday, bud.
Saturday.
It's a Saturday.
All right, team.
All right,
Excuse
Era.
myself. You guys have a great weekend. Jason, thank you for having me. Sean, always great to see you.
Yeah, good to hang. I'll be in touch about like maybe catching up on Zoom soon.
Yeah, let's do that. Have
All
a
right,
good one,
cool.
you guys. Have a
You
good
too.
one.
Hey, Eric.
Later. So I'm adding the highlights to the blues in the cowl right now, and on Wolverine's like mask as well. This is when all the good stuff starts to pop off.
So that's looking pretty good. Let's see, the bids on these are at just $50 each. If anyone wants to go up
Yeah,
to
yeah.
60, go $10 or $20. We'll
Yeah,
lock
let's
that up a little bit.
let's
All right, so Jason says $60 for a Batman.
All right. Thank you, Jason. Now we're talking. I knew once I got the opaques going, I said that's when it comes to life. That's when the bids will come in. And now you can see, like, if you get in on Batman here, you can see it's starting to shine. And I will also, you won't see it on camera today, but when they're done, I put a spray gloss on it that makes the colors like just even look even more rich than they seem right now and protects the piece.
And this World War Hulk page is available. It's not on the site yet, so if anyone wants this one, I think we put it at what, $850.
Is that a Klaus and JR page?
Yep.
Awesome. Super dope. Super dope. And I said this earlier, I'm open to some suggestions. If you all want to come watch me paint something else next week and bid on that, I would just ask that if you throw your suggestion out there and I'm doing it, that you get involved in the bidding a little bit.
Yep. We have one request for a creeper.
Yep.
The other one was Superman, but you weren't really into.
Was that for me? That Superman one?
Yeah, well, it was for both you and Eric.
Oh, okay. You know, is that weird? I never had love for Superman.
No, it's not your thing, man.
No, I did like the Bruce Timm cartoon. Like when I first heard that they were doing it, I was like, oh man, Superman. But then I was like, oh, I never knew Superman could be that interesting. So I did like that.
Well, I mean, Bruce Timm doesn't do any.
Right, exactly. But I just never found the character that interesting to draw as well.
Well, Scott's in for bidding on the creeper, so.
Awesome. All right, Scott, we'll get a creeper going. That'll be fun.
Well, how about the demon?
Oh, did someone suggest that, or are you throwing that out there, Jay?
I'm just throwing that out there.
I would love to do demon. So you can see the highlights on Wolverine's mask are now accomplished, and on Batman's cowl. So now we've got some other areas to work on. I'm going to work on Wolverine's yellow costume. And I've got this beautiful Naples yellow, which is a great luminous yellow for tinting. So let's get that in there. I think that'll look really good.
So we also have, what about Loki?
Ooh, I like the sound of Loki. Jay, will you do me a favor and just keep track of these? And then when we're done, just text them to me.
Yeah, let me write them down.
I'll prep them during the week. Loki sounds very fun.
Loki, Demon, Creeper, and Nick upped the bid to 60 on Wolverine, and Federico to 70 on Batman.
Oh, all right. Now we talking. All right, thank you all. This is awesome. I thought it would be more fun for everyone involved if you could watch me do the work and bid on it while I was doing it. So I'm glad to see that's the case. And as the opaques are coming in, the bids are coming in as this is getting closer to finish. So that's awesome. Thank you all for that. And also, I don't know if you guys are noticing this, but when I lay down that acrylic wash, it dries darker. So it kind of like really sits into the painting as it dries, which is a really nice property about them. Like any gouache, but unlike other gouaches, this one is waterproof. Just noticed there's some blue in my brush. What is that from?
Let's see. Well, we didn't get any donations yet for the Jersey Food Bank. So,
oh yeah, explain that again, Jay. That's a good idea.
I'm taking any $20 donations. I have a few of the Tim Sale new haunted prints that we had at conventions. So if anyone sends $20 over to my my PayPal, we're going to send you one of these prints, or some from Shawn, some from Klaus, some from Eric. And we'll make some donations to the Central Jersey Food Bank for the storm that just hit last week, or a few days ago, as well as to the Planned Parenthood Action Fund.
Yeah, if you guys are not in the like Jersey, New York area, I don't know if you're aware that like some areas got hit pretty bad.
Yeah, a bunch of our neighbors had to be evacuated, so a lot of people lost.
Like how close? When you say neighbors, Jay, how close?
I'm at the top of the hill, so we're lucky that.
Oh, that's the only reason you weren't evacuated?
Yeah. Down the street, less than a mile. The main street was flooded. People, their basements and first floors were flooded. They had to be taken out on boats. It was pretty scary.
Wow, just down the street from you?
Yeah, just less than a mile. And then the surrounding towns, Summit up the hill, and then Milburn, Main Street. All those businesses just got crushed. So
terrible.
We just donated some food to
as if COVID
the rescue squad.
That's good. As if COVID hadn't made life hard enough on the small businesses. Now you got this to deal with.
Cool. Federico, I'll put a print in there on the next order. I should have a few signed ones from Tim Sale.
Did Federico just get involved in that?
Yeah. He said he'd tap in $20.
Thank you, Federico.
And there's a few new Shawn Crystal ones. I don't know if I have
a few new Shawn Crystal. What? Oh, prints. Oh yeah. Put that Batman print up. That one is. I'm really happy with that one.
Let me find it real quick.
Okay.
And Nick said he'll send in a donation. Appreciate it. Just when you make a donation, put in your mailing address in the comments. Obviously, if you do friends and family, that'll be better for us, so we can donate more money. But I'll pop in some cool stuff for anyone who makes a donation. And let me just find Mr. Shawn's prints.
Yeah, that Batman one was a lot of fun, and people seem to really enjoy the lettering on it. All right, Wolverine's starting to pop.
Okay, where are you?
A white
Shawn. Which one do you want? Does it make a difference? You want the Batman one?
for you to
We've got a
show.
Hulk. Yeah, we've got a Hulk, a Batman, a Spider-Man.
Show
a Spider-Man.
show the Batman and the Hulk one. Those are fun. Where's my Naples?
I just need to compress it because the files are too big. Give me one moment. I guess I should prepare a little bit better, but
You learn as you go, man.
well, I'm busy during the week. I like doing it on the fly. All right. Here is the Hulk coming up. Gotcha. For anyone interested, we've got a Hulk.
So do you shrink? Oh, there you go. Do you shrink the file? Do you use Photoshop when you do that stuff, Jay?
Yeah. I just export it and it compresses everything.
I gotcha.
So here's Batman. And the Batman has a blue outline, so this is the image, but it looks a little bit different.
Yeah, it's got the same blue border as the Hulk. I put them on all the prints.
So the donations are for the Central New Jersey Food Bank that helps local families get fed during emergencies and times of need. And the Planned Parenthood Action Fund provides legal help in parts of the country that are in need of legal help, such as Texas. So,
is that because of what was just passed?
Yes.
Gotcha.
So just add your mailing address when you send that over, so I know where to send it out. It'll ship rolled because it's a little bit easier for me to send that stuff out.
What, the prints are shipped rolled?
Yep.
How do most people are okay with that? Like, I'm not saying that it's a problem. I'm just curious. I didn't know.
Yeah, should be okay. You just have to flatten them out a little bit.
Gotcha. Yeah, I guess if you're putting it in a frame, it really shouldn't matter.
Let's see, where are you? Here is the proper Batman one. So it'll look like that. So
there you go.
We've got Batman. I got a Tim Sale Batman. That's for his new haunted book that's coming out next month.
Is that the long Halloween thing?
Yes.
Gotcha. What was that noise? Was that music?
That was my phone. Adam was calling.
Mr. Kubert?
Yeah. Maybe we can get him in.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. All right, we're getting close to being done. So Wolverine's mask is the yellow part of the mask and the mask part are good. Let's get the all we have to do now is I'm gonna do the flesh highlights, and then we'll be close to done on these.
Very cool. Well, thanks, Federico, for coming by and your bids and your purchases.
For show.
Adam says thanks, but he's tired, so he's going to pass this week.
Pass on. On being on camera.
Yep.
All right. That's cool.
Let's see. So where are we?
If any of you have process questions, I'd be happy to answer that as well while I'm sitting here working.
Jennifer Fox just sent in $60.
Oh, wow. Awesome.
So we'll send her 3 prints out next week.
And where are we at on the bids on these ones? 70 for Batman?
70 for Batman.
60 on Wolvie?
Yep. So I think Federico has the 70 for Batman, if I'm not mistaken.
Cool.
Thanks, Jennifer. Jennifer sent the donation. Neil is asking, what is your favorite medium to use?
Neil, that's a great question. I enjoy several mediums, and I enjoy going back and forth with all of them. I love graphite. I love ink. I love paint. I love all the different types of paint. Like, I'm going to do some large paintings this week, I think, where I'm going to actually bring spray paint back into the mix. So I'm excited about that. But I like just practicing with different media all the time. So I don't think I have just one that I really like to stick to. But I really enjoy this part of the process where I'm adding the opaque lights into the paintings, because it really just kind of comes to life at that point. Are you all set for New York Comic Con, Jay?
Nope.
You think it's still going to happen?
I don't, if I'm being honest. I mean, I hope it goes off, but I have a feeling things will get worse in the next few weeks.
Yeah, I agree. I heard they're getting worse in New York right now, huh?
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, it's going to be up to, whichever creators want to attend. At the moment, pre-pandemic, we had something like 25, 30 creators. This year, we're down to 4. And it's basically because they're, local.
I had to back out, so I apologize, but I had to do it.
No, it's understandable.
I mean, it sucks. I really wish I didn't. I really want to go. It's a risk, and I can't afford it.
No, it's understandable. Mags is asking about your collab with the Far Side, and that's at thestackmachine.com.
Yeah. If you go to Spotify and you look up the Stack Machine, Stack is an acronym, so it's S period, T period, A period, C, so on. The song is called Welcome to Nowhere, and you can hear it. And if you go to stackmachine.com, like Jason posted on the screen, we have a very limited edition poster we've released for the Stack Machine as our first wave of merch. So you can check out the song and you can get yourself a poster before they are gone. But that's been a really fun project to be involved with. There we go. All right, I think we're just about done with the fleshy highlights. Yeah. All right, now I'm going to do... I like to do everything, and then we'll do the whites of the eyes last, because that's when they really come to life. So Batman's pretty much done except for the whites of his eyes. And Wolverine, I want to get that cigar lit up a bit in this logo, just a touch. So let's hop into that. So what I'm going to do on the Wolverine logo is get like a nice orange yellow. I think I have an apricot there. Like, oh, there's flesh. I have an apricot. Oh, here's my apricot in here. That's too light. Let's go with the orange yellow, because I can tint that, and that can be fire, and I can also use it dark in here, which would be cool. Just a touch of it. I'll use it sort of transparent so it doesn't come alive too much. There you go. There we go. Let me do a little there. All right, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, so what I'm going to do now is let's tint it with some Naples yellow instead of white, because I think that will look more like flame. How's the weather in Jersey right now, Jay?
Today it's beautiful. It's like
Yeah.
72 and sunny and
Oh wow,
breeze.
yeah, that's nice. We've hit the low 80s finally. It's been a really nice change.
Yeah, that's amazing out today. We took the dogs for a walk. Gonna go in the reservation for a bit.
Go where?
The reservation. There's a wooded reservation
Oh,
that we walk through, like a 3-mile loop in the woods.
that's cool.
So
That's
hang out for a bit. And then I got to do some work. I got these Adam Kubert giclées that came in that need to get packed up.
nice.
And Raj just sent some stuff that needs to get prepped for shipping for some birthday presents. And then we got to get ready for the art show next week in Pompton Plains. So we'll be exhibiting.
What art show is that?
It's just a small collector art show. Like 100 people show up. And
Where?
In Jersey.
Oh, and it's comic art.
Yep, just solely comic art. Albert Moy's usually there. Jim Warden.
Can you say what artists will have work there?
Well, it's just dealers, so none of the artists really show up. But if you want to see some like cool stuff, it's historical. You see Jack Kirby, you'll see Steranko, like high end.
Oh, it's something you're doing. I see. You're going as like a fan.
No, I'm going to set up.
Oh, okay. So what are you going to have there?
No, I'm going to bring everyone's portfolios. We'll have some stuff that's on the site. We'll see what else we can dig up. The Kuberts are supposed to send me some stuff. Klaus gave me some cool pages.
Awesome.
So we'll go and spend a few hours there and see what pops up.
Sweet. I am gonna, as soon as I'm done with this kind of purple reflective light, I'm going to get the whites of their eyes and we'll be done. So let's, if you're thinking about bidding on these, I'll show them where they are. They're not done yet, but we're getting close. Now's a good time to get bids rolling in because they'll be done soon. Just going to add a little white to that purple.
All right, so Nick Connor is the high bidder for Wolverine.
That's 60.
Yep, 70s Batman, and that's Federico. So Federico's not in the chat anymore, so that can be snaked.
Yeah.
For anybody who wants it. He's not here to defend his bid.
Yeah, so you could come in and add $5 to the bid and it's yours. Which would be awesome. All right, cool. All right, now watch the magic. We're going to get the whites of their eyes going. So with Batman, I'm not going to do solid white. I like to tint a color, just a hint of a color that goes along with the palette. So I could go like a tint of lilac to match the purple of the background, or I could go with a tint of cerulean blue to match the cowl more. And I think cerulean blue is the way to go because that's what my gut is telling me. So it's going to be a high tint. I'll show you guys. I'll mix the paint on camera. So I've got the blue already here. And we're going to add a lot of white to it. I want this to be pretty much as close to white as we can get. So we're going to have to add a lot more white to that. It's getting there. Squirt out some white.
And Nick just sent in a $40 donation. Thanks, Nick.
Oh, thank you, Nick. That was awesome. All right, let's see what we can get here. Here we go. Here we go. And the reason I'm not using pure white is just because the intensity of pure white, because I don't have it anywhere else, could disrupt the harmony of the piece, I guess is a good way of putting it. But now I've got what probably on camera looks like white. It's a very, very, very light blue. So that's what I'll use for his eyes. And that little bit of blue will just help it harmonize with what's there already. So let's do that. And I will definitely go in. I always do this. I get a little out of the lines here, but I'll go in with the color pencil on top and reshape it, which will be fine.
You're just out of frame.
Oh, sorry. Okay, I got this little eye to do here. Once that dries, we can get in there and tighten up what I've done. Okay. Cool. And then Wolverine, I'll just use the same tint. Seems to match. Seems to match good. If I use like a really tinted yellow, it would get lost a little bit, I think. Blue is gonna jump out a little better. So we are almost done. So any other bids? Anyone want to get in on the bids as we're getting close to the end here? I'll put them up on camera as soon as they're done. I just got to get this acrylic wash in, and once it dries, I'll clean up the eyes with the color pencil again.
All right, so Modoc Mike upped it to 80 for Batman.
Nice, nice. Now we're talking.
And Neil has 65 on Wolverine.
Oh, hey, all right. We're coming along. Do you guys like this Wolverine with these tiny little fins instead of the big fins? I had a lot of fun drawing that and felt like Wolverine should look like a tightly compact little human bullet. And I think when you make his fins too big, it disrupts the shape of him. Not that I haven't seen them done that. Like, I love Art Adams' Wolverine, and he drew those big fins, but this just made more sense to me. All right, so they're just going to dry for a minute, and then we'll do the matte. I'll clean them up, clean up the eyes just a touch. Everything else I already cleaned up, and they'll be ready to go. So there's Batman. Cool. What, Jay?
I said, cool.
Oh, and then there's Wolverine.
Where are you going to sign it?
I'm going to sign Batman right here and Wolverine probably right here.
All right. Well, go ahead.
No, I was going to do that now. What were you going to say?
I was going to say we're about to finish up. So if there's any last minute bids, then do so in the next, minute or so.
Yeah, I'm just gonna get my signature on here, and I'm gonna do a spray gloss over these guys, so the colors are even richer. And I'm just gonna sharpen my pencil now and clean up the eyes, and we'll be done.
Cool. Modoc Mike, if you can set up an account on my website, essentialsequential.com, so I can get all your information. And I think, Neil, you have one, but just make sure you have an account so I can get all the postage and stuff. And then just throw me an email as long as you guys are the high bidders.
There you go.
Before it's done. And then just throw me a line. And Shawn, when can you mail these out? Next week sometime?
Yeah. In fact, I'm gonna mail them this week. I'm finishing up this commission for Bobby of King Shark. It's almost done, so I'll just mail them all together this week.
Cool.
I got to spray gloss these guys and let that dry fully. So I'll do that probably as soon as we're off camera here. Right now, I'm just getting the eyes cleaned up. And then we'll be done.
And we can have some lunch.
You're just having lunch now?
Yeah, I haven't eaten anything all day. I'm getting a little famished.
All right, here we go. Last round of bids. Where's Batman at right now?
Batman is at $80 for MODOK Mike.
Okay, so if anyone wants to up it from 80, do I hear 85? Get it in there. And Wolverine is at 65. Is that correct?
Yep, for Mr. Neil.
All right. Anyone want to hit 70? We got about another, minute before? I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll do this awesome. This is so fun to do. Take the tape off. And they really look snazzy when you get the tape off. See that?
Ooh.
And when you get the spray bottle, it's going to look even better. So that came out. Let's do Batman. There we go. And there's Mr. Batman. Nice. In a frame, these will look great. Just these nice hand-done paintings.
Awesome. All right. So I think we're good. So Neil, you got Wolverine, and MODOK Mike's got Batman. Just toss me an email after the show. We'll get it all squared away with payment and shipping. And then if you want to see Shawn draw anything for next week, just toss another comment.
I think next week I'm going to do one at this size and one a little bigger, maybe like 5x7, and see how that does. So come on back next week. These are done. Thank you all. Thank you guys for bidding on this and buying them. I appreciate it.
Yeah, congrats to those winners and Federico who bought some other art. And for everyone who sent a donation in for some prints, we'll get those taken care of in the next few days. So keep an eye out. And what else do we got? Do a MF Doom card. That might be cool.
Well, let me show you. Speaking of MF Doom, hold on one sec. Let me pull it out. Find it. It should be in here. I've got a small MF Doom already done.
Oh yeah,
it's not tiny, but it's not 8.5 by 11. So if you're interested in this, let us know.
And that one comes with the sketch too, yeah.
Yeah, it comes with the preliminary drawing right there.
Sweet. Let's see. Well, Universal Monsters says Neil of Frankenstein Mummy.
Yeah, I love Universal Monsters. That's a great suggestion. I love drawing that stuff. That's like my childhood, more than even superheroes.
All right, cool. So here's our little outro. If you can, subscribe to the channel, and then we'll see you guys next week.
And Splicers know tomorrow.